Good evening, guests and fellow Toastmasters. A warm welcome to meeting number 16 of the Gabbys International Toastmaster Club. I am Toastmaster Bimpy Kumari, your Sergeant at Arms for today's meeting. I am sure you are as excited as I am. The meeting will be blocked for 2 hours and you are expected to stay for the entire duration. Before we start meeting, I want to highlight some key points. Your video should be on and audio should be off. Audio should be on only when you are called to speak or need to speak. Regarding the topics of sex, religion, politics, even though Toastmaster International doesn't put any restriction on speaking on these topics. At the Gabbys Toastmaster Club, we request all the speakers and role takers to be mindful and responsible and abstain from expressing any controversial views on these sensitive topics. Also urge you to be cognizant of the fact that we as a club practice diversity and inclusion in letter and spirit, hence ensuring there is no sexist, racist, or any such undertones that create hostility and discomfort for members or guests. Let me call upon the presiding officer as well, Toastmaster of the day for today's meeting, Toastmaster Gauri Aggarwal. I'll take some moment to introduce her. Gauri Aggarwal is a chartered accountant by qualification and she is currently pursuing her passion as an image consultant and a soft skill trainer. Her knowledge of tarot gives her an edge in color psychology. She uses that psychology with her clients to help them know their power colors. Gauri believes that soft skill contribute directly to the sales of an organization. People management is the skill to look out for. She is passionate about building her brand, rebrand.self, which takes care of self transformation. And who doesn't know? Usually, I don't put any alarm because of her. Today, I wake up because of her missed call. So, everyone, please give applause her. Give her a round of applause.
Thank you for the introduction, and I'm so sorry to wake you up this morning. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, that was Toastmaster Bimpy Kumari, our Sergeant at Arms for today's speech marathon. She's the one responsible for starting every single meeting at Gabbys on time and adding a feather to our credibility. One of the many diligent, committed, and relentless Toastmasters of the Gabbys family. Can we have a big round of applause for her? A very good evening to all of you. It's my pleasure to be presiding over the Gabbys speech marathon. I would like to welcome and acknowledge the presence of all the guests and visiting Toastmasters to our meeting. We have amongst us DTM Sampath, sorry Rajan. We appreciate you joining us and we hope that you enjoy your time at Gabbys today. Due to paucity of time, we won't have an opportunity to have each of you introduce yourself, but we would love to know you. I would urge you to use the chat function to share a brief introduction of yours. We will ask you to share your feedback at the end of the meeting. For the benefit of guests, I would want to reiterate, Toastmasters is a home to people who wish to face their fear of public speaking. Not only that, if you love to connect and network with others, if you want to hone your leadership skills, Toastmaster is the place for you. It's a safe place to learn, unlearn, and relearn. We are proud to carry forward this 100-year-old legacy, which is span over 100 plus countries. Now, for the benefit of guests, I would like to explain to you the structure of a Toastmasters meeting. In a regular Toastmaster meeting, we have 3 sections. The first is the prepared section. The second is the table topic or the impromptu speaking section. And the third is the evaluation section. But today, since we have a special meeting and a speech marathon, we will have only 2 sections, the prepared speech section as well as the evaluation section. To help me in today's speech marathon, I have the timer of the day, Toastmaster Pranav Pothan. Toastmaster Pranav is working as an analyst in a fintech company in Bangalore, looking for opportunities to speak and take up roles. He is developing his public speaking and leadership skills through Toastmasters. I would like to call upon Toastmaster Pranav to explain his role today. Toastmaster Pranav.
Uh, Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, Gauri Aggarwal, for that lovely introduction. What does Toastmaster teaches us? One important aspect is punctuality and keeping up with time. We have always a 2-hour meeting and we always plan everything according to the time. As a timer of the day, my duty is precisely to help you with this. So today, uh, as you can see, my background, based on the timing of the speech, I will be changing the background. For instance, there are different type of speech. 4 to 6 minute speech. I will be, when the time is almost 4 minutes, I will be changing the background to green as green. And when the time is 5 minutes, when it strikes 5 minutes, I will be changing it to yellow. And when it strikes 6 minutes, I will be changing it to red. For 5 to 7 minutes speech, when the time is 5 minutes, I will be changing the background to green. When it is 6, I will be changing to yellow, and when it is 7, I will be changing it to red. And for other special projects, based on the 20-minute speech, I will be changing the background to green when it is 18. When it is yellow, when it is 19 minutes, I will be changing it to yellow, and when it is red, I will be changing it to 20. So I would like to urge all of you to keep up with the time, especially the speakers, so that we have a good meeting and a very good roundabout discussion today. So over to you, Toastmaster of the Day, Gauri Aggarwal.
Thank you, Toastmaster Pranav, for explaining your role. I would like to call upon our first speaker, Toastmaster Inderpal Chadda. Toastmaster Inderpal, are you present in the meeting? Okay, I think she's not yet there. We would move on to our second speaker, that is Toastmaster Nina Wij. Toastmaster Nina, could you please confirm if you're present in the meeting? Okay, we don't have her yet. Is Toastmaster Jitender Rulaniya there? Okay, so we will have to push up the order, and I do see Toastmaster Samita Kar in the meeting. Her evaluator is DTM.
No, excuse me. I need 5 people to join. So I'll just give me 2 minutes time so that I can call my members and they can join and then I can start.
Okay.
You go on with the next speaker. In the meantime, I'll ask them to join.
Do we have Toastmaster Upasana in the meeting?
She will be joining by 7:30, she said.
Okay.
So,
Right. So that brings me in spot. We do not have any speakers in the meeting yet. Toastmaster Samita, please let me know once you're ready to join in.
Yes, I'm just asking them to join.
So in the meantime, what do? Let me just bring a topic and make this like a normal meeting. Okay, so
questions for it to interject. It's Manikandan here. Gauri, I think the guest, we can give a chance for them to speak up. So,
or we can have table topic here.
Yeah.
By time.
okay, great. So we will have the feedback section in the end. So good idea. I think we can we can start with table topics. So can I have a raise of hands or do I pick out people? I do see, okay, Evaluator Leon D'Souza. Give me a second before I think of a topic for you. Okay, so the topic for you is, which is your favorite ice cream flavor? Toastmaster Leon, which is your favorite ice cream flavor?
Which is my favorite ice cream flavor? Ice creams. Thank you, table topic
Do
master.
you want me to time them or like?
Yeah, time them.
Man, I got a head start. Okay.
Please go
Shall I
ahead.
start?
Yes, please.
Thank you, table topic master, for this opportunity to speak. Which is my favorite ice cream flavor? Well, I normally go for chocolate chips or chocolate flavor. But recently, I was in a hot summer day. My mouth was sweating, and I could almost smell, smell the salt or of the sweat. I could taste it, and people around me could smell it. I thought of having an ice cream, and I thought of ordering it, and I'd ordered a butterscotch right to my home, around 15 kilometers away from my home. I went all the way home running, and when my mom gave it to me, I ate it so deliciously that my mouth really watered a lot. The only sad part about it, it was given in a small little quantity, not so much, because the next day I would be sneezing with cold otherwise. My mom, moms, they are always so very protective with their children. So they don't want them to fall sick. Having ice creams have its better way also. There's a person in Bangalore who makes ice cream out of Nandini milk all by himself, handmade, and he sits in his shop selling these ice creams by himself in a homely manner. It's one of the most tastiest place. I'm not going to reveal its place name. I'm not doing any marketing stunt here. You guys have to do some research and find out as to where it is. Go around. So I give you a task today. Go around Bangalore, search the place, and come back next meeting and tell the Toastmaster of the day where is the place. Back to you, table topic master.
Well, please do tell me, because whenever I go to any city, my first business is to go and look for places to eat at. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Leon. That was lovely. Toastmaster Manikandan, your topic is, what is non-negotiable for you? What is non-negotiable for you?
Okay. Thank you so much for the topic. Again, it's good that we didn't have the speakers, so that we got a chance to speak about a couple of table topics. So we just take it as an opportunity for that. Coming to my topic, so which are things non-negotiable for me, right? Maybe my previous speaker talking about the places, right? Maybe I'll start from that, which I was thinking parallelly. So I'm not eating sugar past 53 days. So earlier I had a mindset that after every meal, I need to eat some dessert or some set of sweetening items, which I was thinking that that's going to be the way of my life in terms of eating patterns. Then later, I heard and then part of a couple of workshops. So then I thought maybe just giving up sugar is the right thing to do. Where I'm coming from is the mental model of this thought process. Earlier, I thought giving up some of the areas which I thought that it is not at all possible, but learning that something new, and then which is actually thinking it will bring some goodness to the health, and then giving up sugar is something it's really helpful for me. So the overall outcome of this is it's not negotiable for me to give up easily on certain things. That's why I'm able to follow not eating sugar more than 21 days. So that is really helping me out. Apart from that, in the career perspective, couple of items is not negotiable is you give a commitment and then you to deliver accordingly. Like today's thing also, right? So I love people, then they just stepped in and then plan accordingly. So there are ups and downs, but ultimately, like we will take up whatever comes on our plate. So back to you, third topic, Master.
Thank you, Toastmaster Manikandan. And non-negotiable, I relate to the sugar part of it. It's absolutely non-negotiable for me as well. And it wasn't tough for me because I don't have a sweet tooth, luckily. Thank you for your speech. Okay, Toastmaster Yogita.
Toastmaster Gauri, we have speaker one in the meeting. We can proceed with the speakers now.
We don't have the evaluator.
No, it's there.
I'm
Jo-
also ready.
Jyoti's okay. Okay, so we start with our speeches. Speaker 1 is Toastmaster Inderpal Chadda. She would be evaluated by Toastmaster Leon Dennis Dsilva, who is also going to attempt his speech, which is the evaluation and feedback speech. He would further be evaluated by Toastmaster Jyoti Mandal. Toastmaster Inderpal Chadda is a chartered accountant by profession, dedicated to her role as a consultant at EY. She's based out of Chandigarh. She follows her passion for baking and painting, indulges in traveling experiences, and enjoys watching television. Committed to self-growth and has joined Toastmasters with the goal to refine her presentation abilities and to master the art of public speaking. She's attempting L1P1 from the Path Presentation Mastery. Her project name is Icebreaker, and the project purpose is for her to introduce herself to the club and learn the basic structure of a public speech. Timer, please note her speech duration is 4 to 6 minutes.
Sorry to interrupt you. Actually, I'm evaluating Samita Kar.
Who is speaking?
This is Jyoti Mandal.
Jyoti, you're evaluating Toastmaster Leon Dennis Dsilva's evaluation. You might be a panelist.
Jyoti, please follow the agenda I have shared in the group.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah,
thanks.
yeah. So you will be evaluating another evaluator, Leon, Toastmaster Leon.
All right. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
And we continue. Toastmaster Inderpal Chadda, the twists and turns. The twists and turns, Toastmaster Inderpal Chadda.
Thank you, TMOD, Gauri Aggarwal. Good evening to all the fellow Toastmaster. So today my topic is twist and turns, the unforeseen challenges of a chartered accountant. And I'll start with the quote, Steve Jobs quotes, you cannot connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect it looking backward. So we have to trust that dots will somehow connect in the future. And we have to trust in something, gut, destiny, life, karma. This approach has never let him down, and it has made all the difference in his life. So today I'm going to talk about not about my CA journey, but when I was at the last stage of my CA final and I was left with 7 exams. I gave those 7 exams, which was the difficult time of my life, having those sleepless nights, and even the time before, it was all full of rough patches. And I gave those exams, and after that I had thought that it will be my last attempt. If I don't clear it, I had no clue what I'll do next. But I was there waiting for results and see what next course I'll take. And in the meantime, I got a call during that time. After giving the exam, I got a call from one of my uncle Tayaji in London. He stays in Manchester, and he said that if you want to study abroad, I can sponsor your education. You can come abroad and settle over there. So I thought, especially considering the roller coaster ride I had during my exams, I thought it can be an escape mechanism for me. I can take that opportunity, go abroad, and figure out what I want to do. So I said yes to him, and he helped me with the visa process, and he sent me some admission papers in a college and university, along with some along with some papers which I can use for the visa purpose. So with no time, I started with the visa process. I got my visa, and I was there and had to travel in next 10-15 days, leaving my family and friends behind. And I started having those thinking feeling that I have to leave everything when I was just on the edge of completing something. But I was excited at the same time. So I went ahead, and after 15 days, I had to go. And before 2 days, I got my result. And to my surprise and my family surprise, I cleared those 7 exams, which was like a miracle and serendipity for me. I was wearing that victory hat that I cleared those exams, and I'm a chartered accountant now. So the whole course of thought process of going, it started changing. I got more confidence that I'm going with a qualification now. And yeah, just went there, and I was welcomed warmly by my uncle and my cousin. And I started getting into nick of things. Things were totally different there. There, the whole culture, everything was kind of something I was trying to adjust and adapt, because I'm talking about 10, 15 years back, where things were totally different. Even the infrastructure and everything that youngsters and everybody we see here, it's almost equivalent to any foreign country, but that time it was totally different. So I was getting into that phase where I was trying to settle in and grasp a lot of things so that I can get adapted over there. And then I also discovered that the enrollment papers for the college admission that was sent as well only for the visa purpose. And I had to again look into something what I want to do next. So I started looking for either qualification, or I also thought that since I'm qualified, why don't I look for job, and if the company can sponsor my education. So I started looking that option also. But in the meantime, um, I also had that thought that I didn't want to be burdened on my family, my uncle who has always been there like a godfather. So I wanted to I wanted to do something of my own and not be burdened on him. So I started getting homesick also. So I thought of coming back. So I decided to come back to India. And in the meantime, the campus placements were going on for my chartered accountants qualification, like post qualification. There's a campus interview that happens. So I was just 1 week before that placement. So I appeared for that campus. I was not well prepared, so I could not get through that campus. And then I was back. I started applying for job from Chandigarh. Every day I was applying 10, 15 jobs. And then I thought, in the meantime, let's start in some CA firm. So I started in one of the firm with one of the CA who was known for thrashing in front of the client. So, but I thought I'll do it. Let's challenge that. And I started working under him. I worked for almost 9 months under him. And after 9 months, I was able to get through job in Genpact as assistant manager, and equivalent to same salary package with my peers and my other friends. They got 9 months back after after qualification or in through campus. So I was almost at the same stage post 9 months. I was at no loss. That made me happy. So I went to Delhi. I started with the job, and through job they gave me opportunity that I can travel to US for transitioning one of the process from US. So I applied for the US visa and it got rejected. And then they said we can also try for UK because the company had offices in both US and UK. So then I applied for UK visa. I got the UK visa. And I traveled for 2 months post that, and traveled for almost 2 months. And so it was almost like after a year, I was able to travel to London, and I was able to meet my uncle, my relatives, etc. And this time I was more confident, and I just thought I made the right choice coming back to India, because I went through a job, and I was actually I didn't spend time in learning something, but since CA was a good qualification almost, so it helped me to get the job here and then go back there. And after that, I traveled a few more times and I was able to see them. So just want to conclude that being a CA was a struggle for me, and not just through the exams, but also long after that it was over. I felt lost, I felt confused, but every time I found a way out. Every experience taught me that things happen for a reason, and believing in ourselves is so important. Through all of it, I found the strength to keep going, and today here I am, stronger and wiser. So this is my story, TMOD. Gauri, over to you.
Toastmaster Indrapal, I so relate to the CA part of it, being a chartered accountant myself. I know that what a victory passing those 7, 8 exams mean. And life is just a full circle. You came back, went again, and became more comfortable. Congratulations on completing your icebreaker speech. May I request everyone to give Toastmaster Indrapal a standing ovation.
Thank you.
Okay, with this, we can move on to our next speaker. I would like to confirm with Toastmaster Samita if she is ready.
Yes, I am.
Toastmaster Samita Kar has 30 plus years of experience in the academia as a principal and now as a trainer. She's the mother of two wonderful children, and one of them, her son Shovik, introduced her to Toastmasters. She will be evaluated by DTM Sampath Rajan. And I can see you, sir. She is attempting her level 3 P2 speech from the Path Effective Coaching. The project name is Reaching a Consensus. The purpose of a project is for her to work with the group to practice reaching consensus on any topic. The speech duration is 20 minutes for the exercise and 2 to 3 minutes for her closing statement. Toastmaster Samita Kar, face to face. Face to face, Toastmaster Samita Kar. You're on mute. You're on mute, ma'am.
A very good evening to fellow Toastmasters and my dear guests. Today, in this era where we are virtually online throughout the day, we love meeting online. Has this proved to be a blessing? Yes, it has. For people like me who live in remote places, for us to connect with Toastmasters was a blessing. For 2 years, we have been practicing our speeches, getting better at what we are doing. And today, I'm attempting to bring all my fellow Toastmasters together to discuss and reach a consensus on a topic. Topic is, online speaking is very convenient. Do we need to meet at least once a year offline to meet each other? That will enhance the journey of our Toastmasters. Today, I have with me Toastmasters from various clubs. Toastmaster Nancy, Toastmaster Venkatesh, who is from Speakers Den, Toastmaster Shovik, who is from the International Club, Toastmaster Monica, Toastmaster Bimpy, Toastmaster Mohanty. We will discuss about how is it important for us to meet. First, we will listen to all of them speak and then try to get to a conclusion. I will request Toastmaster Nancy first to tell us, do you think it's important for us to meet?
Meet online?
No, meet offline. Once a year, can we meet offline and enhance our Toastmasters journey?
Once a year meeting offline, I think coming out of your comfort zone when you are so used to sitting at home, conducting these online meetings, and then if somebody comes back to you and say, we have one offline meeting that you need to conduct and then meet there, I will rather pass, in my personal opinion. But when I wear the hat of a president of the club, I would also want everyone to get to know each other, get to experience something different, not just online stage, offline stage is also there. So when I have to wear hat of the president of the club, yes, I would definitely go for hybrid or offline meetings, as many as possible. Once in a quarter, once in 6 months, once in a year, multiple times in a year. So those thoughts definitely come to picture. But then at the same time, what about those, since we have got international club, we have got online club, people who are not in town at all, how would they feel? So I don't think I have a clear answer whether on a personal note I need to think, or wearing the hat of the president I need to think. I really don't have any clear answer, hybrid meeting, offline meeting, online meeting. I'm just clueless. Unless, we have many people who really want to come forward, hearing it from Bimpy, hearing it from Manvi, who are there to discuss the same topic. I would rather like to know their perspective, whether they would come on board if there's a hybrid meeting or not. Based on majority, I think I would like to go. But for me personally, I like online meetings, just staying in my own comfort zone and speaking.
Thank you. You like your comfort zone, but you are aware of the fact that offline meeting does provide us with the networking to push ourselves to go somewhere where online meeting, as you have rightly pointed out, we sit in front of the screen and we can definitely attend multiple meetings, but again, there is something more in the offline meeting and you would like to go along with the others. Toastmaster Bimpy, I would like to hear what you have to say on this.
So, as topic suggests, like online meetings are good. However, we can meet once or twice in a year. So I agree to this in my opinion. So in Toastmaster, we have that privilege that we can join online and offline modes of meeting. So we have the advantage and disadvantage of both mode of meetings. In online meetings, people who lives in city where commuting takes like just double of the time due to traffic. So online meeting is boon for us. We can save our time, energy, and also the people who lives out of country, throughout all over the world, we can connect online. That is boon. But however, I believe in that who stays in within same city, who can meet offline, have a offline meeting. Why we can't have? Since we have that privilege to see people, connect with the people, so we can have that offline meeting as well. So I agree to this. This is my opinion.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. So you were saying that though online meeting is good because it is time saving, since living in city, traveling is an issue, but connecting offline once a year is something which you look forward to. I will ask Toastmaster Venkatesh right now. Toastmaster Venkatesh, what do you think? Are you ready for an offline meet once a year?
Two sides.
Yes.
Yes, and I have joining Toastmasters online because of my remote places. If there will be a offline meeting, it will for limited people, and coming to online, it spreads to every corners of the country, whatever background they come from, and there is no hesitation. Even sometimes I feel my mother used to say during online meeting and bring some medicine. She was in, and during online meeting, I can put my headphone and join meeting, and there is no distraction. And other point says like last moment when someone said, please, can you take a role for me? Then last moment changes of roles can happen in online meeting, but if you go for offline, it is little difficult to manage the things. This is from my side, Toastmaster Samita.
Okay, thank you, Toastmaster Venkatesh. Yes, you have rightly pointed out. You and me, we both are sitting in remote places, but we are able to get the benefit of Toastmaster just because it is online. As you have correctly mentioned, if there is some problem at home or there are a lot of issues, you can simply opt out for the meeting and go and help out in the house or any emergency that is there, which will not be possible if you are traveling far off. However, here we were talking about meeting once a year. It's only meeting once a year that we can get the feel and the benefits of an offline meeting. That is what we are talking about. I'll come back to you to get your opinion. In the meantime, we can't hear you. It will be great if you can just increase the volume.
Toastmaster Samita?
Yes.
See, that brings me to another point. When we are meeting online for rest of the year and we are not able to hear some of the speakers, at least we don't find those challenges when you're meeting offline. So why once in a year? We can also meet multiple times in 1 year and avoid these challenges, these online challenges of trying to listen to all other people who are trying to speak, and these network challenges that we generally face.
Yes, 100% I agree with
Not
you.
joining on time, dropping in between. A lot of challenges are there.
Challenges. Yeah,
online.
that is what we do face in Zoom meetings and online meeting. Toastmaster Shobik, can you tell what is your opinion? Would you like to meet once a year?
I most definitely would love to meet once a year. But the biggest issue which I feel with this is number one, since I'm a member of the Gabbys International Toastmasters Club, will we just be meeting the club members or will it be the whole family of Gabbys who will be meeting? The second one is a more logistical issue. Where will we be meeting? Will it be Bangalore? Since I am based out of Gurgaon, and it will be a little tough for me to come down to Bangalore for just one meeting. I would definitely love so if the meeting has been pre-planned. And thirdly, logistical issue would be where would we conduct the meeting? Because anyone who has lived in Bangalore knows the traffic is tedious. It might take someone 2 hours to come. So how do we solve these logistic issues? Is the one thought in my mind. But at the same time, I have seen multiple meetings, Toastmaster meetings, which are held in person, which are held in hybrid mode. And I most definitely can share the enthusiasm of all the participants which we have in the Zoom meeting does not match the one which we have in an in-person meeting. Those have a vibe of its own, though those meetings are just special. So once a year, twice a year, I think so. That's definitely if this situation can be taken up on how to solve the logistical issues. I think so. If once we get past that, these meetings can definitely be held in one place.
Thank you. One is logistic issue. Second is Gabby will meet as a family or will we meet individually as the clubs? Definitely, we would love to meet Gabby as a family. And the second question that you put up that since it's an international, where will we meet? Right now, as we are talking, we are planning to meet only in some place which is accessible to everybody. No international spot right now. And we will talk about where to meet. First, let us come to a conclusion that we can meet. All of us agree on that one point that we can meet once a year. Then the date, time, place, and all those other logistic issues that you have spoken about, we will be talking about it. Toastmaster Manvi, can I hear your opinion?
Sure, we heard many things about online and offline meetings. And trust me when I say this, I joined Gabby's just because I was there in the very first meeting that was held offline. I would say hybrid, and that was a celebration. The vibes, the energy people carried there, the enthusiasm they had while they were playing the activity was the reason I am a part of Gabby's today. And no doubt, online, we make connections online, we have good friends online. Even I joined when COVID hit. I am an online Toastmaster. I have been, I would say, once or twice only in a meeting that happened offline. But when it comes to energy, the handshakes, the laughter, the fun activities, and all those things that we cannot experience online, I believe that we can do at least once a year when we meet offline. I won't say totally offline because we have many international members here. So we can be hybrid once a year and plan a huge event there where three clubs become a family, may it be hybrid or totally offline. That is all your take. No doubt the traffic will be there, no doubt the comfort zone. We have to come out of a comfort zone, but the energy that you will feel when you handshake with those people you have seen online, that would be unbeatable. And one more reason. In online, we can see the black boxes with names, but offline, we don't have an opportunity to hide our faces. These are my reasons that at least we can meet offline once a year.
Manvi, people don't come up even if it's once a year. They're like, it's a lot of traffic. Even if you choose a place, which is near to metro station. Even then, people would be like, okay, that's still a little too far. Maybe I'll have to come out of my home. Just look at it from logistic standpoint, even if it's once a year.
Toastmaster Nancy, I'm sorry, I'll cut you here. What Toastmaster Manvi said, I'll come back to you later. What Toastmaster Manvi said is very interesting. Like all of us, most of us, like Toastmaster Venkatesh, Toastmaster me, we have joined online. So we have not for once also enjoyed the vibe that Toastmaster Manvi was talking
Agreed,
about.
Toastmaster Samita, but imagine if I plan a meeting on a day when it's your marriage anniversary. Would
Yeah.
you still join Gabby's meeting because it's Gabby's
Yeah.
meeting happening hybrid? Or
Yeah,
you would
yeah,
go for your
definitely.
marriage
I would go
anniversary
ahead.
celebrations?
That is something different. But today we are talking about only one point. That is, can we come to a conclusion that should we meet? If we get to the point that if most of us are agreeing to the fact that meeting offline will give us something more than meeting online. We are delivering our speeches, we are getting evaluation, we are getting the best in Toastmasters through the online meet. But as Toastmaster Manvi has correctly pointed out, maybe some of us are missing something because the black boxes don't show us if everyone is listening. I do agree to your concern, Toastmaster Nancy, that people may not come. And that's the reason we have this meeting today, where we are taking into account everybody's concern and just looking for that solution possible where we can have most of us coming offline, because definitely offline networking, offline vibe. And let us not forget one thing, though the world has moved to the online space to a large extent, but still you will see most offices, they work 3 days online, 3 days offline. So when you have to give a presentation, it might be that you're giving a presentation offline too. Offline manners, offline gestures, offline postures are different from the online ones. There you don't have a virtual background behind you. You need to stand on the stage, you need to face the audience, and those are live audiences. So those aspects we miss in the online space.
What if my whole team is sitting in US and I really don't need to go offline to connect with them, or my company is not giving me opportunity to go offline at all?
Sure, your company may not give you the opportunity to go offline, but in your day-to-day life, you are not speaking to each other through the screen. You are meeting one-to-one and you are talking one-to-one. And there also, whatever we learn in Toastmasters, we learn to become good leaders and speakers. And speaking involves not only office. In our day-to-day life, as a mother, as a sister, as a wife, as a daughter, we need to speak. And we can use all the qualities of a good communicator to coax someone to do something that we like, or to express our opinion on what we like and what we dislike and why we dislike, or even for that matter, give an evaluation to a teenage son or daughter what they are doing is correct or incorrect by using the methods that we use in Gabbys, that we use in Toastmasters. That evaluation method will be much more appropriate and the child will listen to you if we go to the offline space. So let us ask Toastmasters Smruti also for her opinion, and then I'll come to the others, those who want to speak. Yes.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Samita. My opinion might be very biased based on the location. Having said that, let me tell you one thing. When I started exploring I was thinking about the idea of joining a Toastmasters club. My supreme and primary intent was to join a club who meets offline so that I can go there, I can actually and use the entire stage, network with people better, try to understand where I'm going right, where I'm going wrong with respect to particularly body language, because I can literally move my hands, cover the stage entirely. But after COVID, none of the Toastmasters club in my area is operating offline. And I cannot make it one of the major hindrance when it comes to learning. So I made my mind and thought, okay, fine, if not offline, how about learning? Because that's the important intention, whosoever is joining a Toastmasters club. So my priority completely shifted, and Gabby's happened to me, and here I am joining literally twice a week, and I'm enjoying this process. If you are asking me if it is important, yes, that's a good to have thing, but not a must have thing when especially it comes to learning and growing. That's my take. Over to you.
I have heard all of you speak. Every one of you had a valid point. Let it be that networking is important, speaking is important, the stage is important, or let it be that in remote corners we can join online, and online is something that we would love to keep on joining. However, I would like to see by raise of hands how many of you feel, after listening to the discussion, that we should meet once a year. You can raise your hand and tell me that how many of you feel. Yes, I'm waiting. Toastmaster Nancy, Toastmaster Smruti, how many of you feel that we should meet once a year? Okay. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, yeah. So we have quite a few members saying that we should meet offline. How many of you, now please lower your hand, and how many of you feel we should not meet offline? We should not meet offline. Okay. Now, here is the thing. There are a few who have not raised their hands both offline and online. However, majority has raised their hand for meeting offline. In Toastmasters, we learn communication, whether it's online and offline, that we do agree. But when we meet online, the unique advantage of improving our public speaking skills, since we are standing on a stage, as Toastmaster Smriti had rightly pointed out, the networking opportunity, because here, once the meeting is over, we switch off and then we are out. But in an online space, we cannot network after that. Whereas in an offline space, you have the opportunity to go out, talk to people, meet people, get to know people, network with people. This is a very important aspect of Toastmasters. It will be good that if we can meet once a year and then take the best both of online and offline space. As you all have agreed, once a year we can meet. So we will meet. Thank you, and over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
That was a superb and an excellent discussion on online or offline contextual intelligence used by DTM Nancy Goel. That connection goes off in the online meeting. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and thank you, Toastmaster Samita, for your speech. Our next speaker today is Toastmaster Chitrakshi Wij, and she will be evaluated by Toastmaster Monica Ashwini. Toastmaster Monica, could you please confirm your presence? Toastmaster Monica, are you there?
I see her in the meeting.
Yeah, but she's on
Yes,
mute.
I'm here. I'm here.
Toastmaster Chitrakshi Wij is a triple path breaker, a VPPR of the Gabbys International Toastmasters Club. She has empowered over 6,000 individuals to secure promotions, ace interviews, and excel in their visual and vocal communication. She is attempting her L5P1 Speech 1 from the Path Innovative Planning. The project name is High Performance Leadership. The purpose of a project is for her to apply her leadership and planning knowledge to develop a project plan organize a guidance committee, and implement the plan with the help of a team. The purpose of her speech is to introduce her plan or vision. Timer, please note her speech duration is 5 to 7 minutes. Toastmaster Chitrakshi Wij. Now that's the plan. Toastmaster Chitrakshi Wij.
How many of you are aware of the Speechcraft program at Toastmasters? Quick raise of hands. Quite a few of you. Can anyone tell me the purpose of this program, why Speechcraft program is in place and what is expected of this program? Anyone?
It's a sneak peek into what Toastmasters offers us.
Okay, excellent. What else?
Learn the craft of speaking.
Okay, Toastmaster Nina, could you answer first and then Toastmaster Ismail, I'll come to you.
To learn craft of speaking.
Okay, to learn craft speaking, always a tongue twister there. Yes, Toastmaster Ismail.
To articulate our ideas.
To articulate our ideas. Okay, perfect. So out of all the answers, yes, Toastmaster Leon.
For beginners to know what is Toastmasters.
Very well. For beginners to know what is Toastmasters. So knowing all that we know of Speechcraft, we understand that it is a small program which is meant to make anyone who's interested in Toastmasters get the feel of what they can expect in future if they join Toastmasters. Well, as fun as it sounds, it is a lot of work. And the goal of Speechcraft is definitely to reach Toastmasters, but in order to reach there, they have 8 weeks of work that is divided, speeches that are divided into icebreaker and body language and so on. Now, having said that, it is very different from a Toastmasters meeting. And that is because the format of this particular meeting of 2 hours is not the same. The prepared speech section is not the first thing that happens. The table topics can be changed as per need. There's not just one person who attempts a table topic and there's not just one chance given to you. So a lot of permutation and combination that goes around in a Speechcraft program. I was a Speechcrafter myself. So anyone here who remembers when I was a Speechcrafter, any of you who was there? Anyone who remembers the Speechcraft program that the Gabbys had 2 years ago? Nobody here, except Toastmaster Nancy, DTM Nancy and DTM Sourav. And that's why they were the guidance committee. Well, so when they became the guidance committee, the goals were in place. All I had to do was take one step at a time. And with each meeting, introduce one small role. So in the first meeting, it was just supposed to be orientation. So the plan was first meeting, orientation, no role takers needed, except maybe a timer. Meeting 2, there has to be a table topic master other than the TMOD or the person who takes care, the coordinator. And slowly and steadily bring in maybe a grammarian, maybe an counter, maybe a speaker who is different, maybe an evaluator for the educational slot. So that is the plan that was in action. But the first thing to do was decide the time that I wanted my Speechcraft program to be. And I decided a Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. time slot. Pretty easy, very interesting. Plan sorted, guidance committee sorted. Thankfully, Toastmasters gives us a very thorough guide of what is needed, how we need to take this forward, how the process is supposed to be. And the plan was to start in October end, beginning November. Trick 1. It was Diwali in the north. Most of the role takers, most of the guidance committee, and the coordinator, as I could be, was occupied. So the plan was now slightly twisted and slightly changed and very confusing. Number 2, the Wednesday 11 to 1 batch could not be taken by me. So all the people, all my mentees, all the plans that I had created or that I was going to implement in the coming weeks were sent to trash. Because now I had to take Friday 6 to 8. So all the role takers that I had planned for the next 8 to 9 weeks were not going to be available. So the goal was clear, the guidance committee was clear, but nothing else was clear. And this is between the planning and the start of the orientation. So between the speechcraft program to start and the planning, there were 5 different changes of plan. And that's when your leadership is truly tested. I did not know what to do. I did not know how to do it. I just knew that my guidance committee told me that I could do it. Great. How? The plan was to keep changing the plan. The plan was to keep working on the plan by implementing everything that you have. And as a leader, you will always know when you're prepared for something, that's never going to happen. And when you're the least prepared for something, that'll come your way no matter what you do. And what you're the worst at is what you will truly be tested upon. And that, my dear Toastmasters and guests, was how between planning and the first session, my leadership skills were tested. What happened next? Was the batch successful? Was I able to get people? All that comes in my second speech of HPL, of my project 1 of this level. So stay tuned. Back to you, Toastmaster today.
Thank you, Toastmaster Chitrakshi, for personally taking me down memory lane. I'm a speech crafter turned Toastmaster, and all the memories were coming back to me. But I didn't know what you were going through in the background. I got a sneak peek of it today. What you fear comes to you, and I had a tough Toastmaster of the day beginning today. Okay, we continue with Toastmaster Nina Witch. And her evaluator is Toastmaster Atul C. Srivastava. Toastmaster Atul, could you please confirm your presence? Okay, you're on mute, but I can see you. Toastmaster Dr. Neena Gupta Wij is Assistant Professor of English Literature at the Central University of Jammu. A fervent reader, she surrounds herself with the things she loves, finding comfort within the confines of her room while dreaming of the outside world. She's also my fellow speech crafter. Neena ji is attempting her level 2 P2 from the path Presentation Mastery. Her project name is Effective Body Language. The project purpose is for her to deliver a speech with awareness of intentional and unintentional body language, as well as to learn, practice, and refine how she uses nonverbal communication when delivering her speech. Timer, please note, her speech duration is 5 to 7 minutes. Toastmaster Neena Witch. Neena Witch. Neena Witch. Toastmaster Neena Witch.
Thank you so much, Gauri. Feels good to be seeing you again and in this role. The topic is a tree outside my window. And I want to sort of revisit my memories of trees. Do you notice trees? Do they make you pause? Do they make you stop? Do they make you stop in it, slow down and stop in your tracks? Then you know what I'm talking about. Trees are everywhere. Trees are there in the parks, in their cages, their concrete, bamboo, or iron cages, struggling to survive, trying to keep up with the pollution and the mud and the noisy boys, and being dug up by the cats and the dogs, and they're deadly caught in the crossfire of cricket balls, but they're trying to survive. Have you noticed trees that line the roads, that struggle to line the roads? There was a time when there were roads that were lined with trees throughout, like the beautiful Mysore Ooty road, which is full of those tunnel of old trees planted there. It is like a huge live tunnel of green, and it's so beautiful. That beautiful experience remains with you after very long, up till very long. Then if you love these trees, then like me, I think it'll be very nice to go down that tunnel of memories. So let me misquote a poet and say, how and why do I love trees? Let me count the ways. 1, I love trees because they make me come alive. As I drive from my home towards my workplace, what is expected is that I would be full of stress. You're going for the work day, And yet, as I enter a special, I turn a special corner, there the trees are in front of me. I so look forward to seeing those trees every day that my workplace is more of a place that inspires me. And as I drive there, all the other stress of my everyday, of my concerns just falls away. And when I reach my office, my room, there from my window, I can see those beautiful trees. What are those trees? Trees are speckles of green and yellow and darker green and lighter green. And as I enter the room, I can see all those beautiful shades of the foliage and the turning shades. And of course, we are very lucky to have deciduous forests and trees. So it's generally green or a lighter green or a lighter yellow every time. And when I sit down to work, I'm always looking at trees. So my workplace is the most stress-free place for me because of these trees. Two, the second reason I love trees is because it reminds me of my childhood in army cantonments, which I think you would all sort of recall if you have seen those pictures, that they're full of trees. And those trees were not just something that we watched, we swung from those trees. We made swings on those trees. We insisted that we wanted swings every summer on those trees, and how we climbed those trees. And at those days, we were told that, okay, don't be tomboys, don't climb up trees. But it was so lovely. My favorite place was a nice little hollow in a tree, easily climbable tree, where I could just sit down with a book and hide from everyone else because I was not too fond of playing, except perhaps, hide and seek, where one could hide behind a tree sometimes. So the trees are so much a part of my active childhood that a tree makes me always pause. Three, whenever I'm walking down cities and towns, I notice that there are hardly any trees there. And so as people walk from street to street, from one street shop to another, from one street to the next, buying, Bangalore has those different streets for different things. I move from tree to tree. I just look for trees and then I spot these trees and I also remember only those trees as I move along. So the journey for me, the shopping for me is again tree for tree. And that is why I love Delhi, that new Delhi, now called Lutyens Delhi, which is so beautifully full of such beautiful, magnificent old trees. Then four, whenever I had these homes, wherever I had these many homes that I had, and sometimes there were places where there were not trees. We were living perhaps in the, not in suburbs. Then I would look for a tree or an angle in my home from where I could see a branch or a bark or something of the tree. And there I would place my chair, where I would sip my tea, where I would read my book, which would be the special place for me. So I always had a tree outside my window. Then 5, why I love trees. Because as I look at trees, I get a very strange feeling of the way they are rooted in earth, but they're looking towards the sky. So though you look at the base, you're looking at the earth, and when you look upwards, you're looking at the sky. And what a wonderful feeling that is. And so it takes me down my usual quest of philosophy. What does that tree signify? The earth or the sky? And then I noticed that when trees, even when they are young, before they have put down deep roots, the saplings are going skywards. They are striving upwards. So what does a tree signify? Rootedness or aspiration? And then I just stop myself there. I shake my head and I say, okay, I have to go back to whatever I'm doing. And I've really, really enjoyed my tryst with the trees. And let me go back to my work. And so I come back to my session. Thank you.
Neena ji, I could not have imagined a 5 to 7 minute speech on tree and how much you love them. Your skill of verbal acrobatics has always caught my attention, and it was just the same. Wish to hear more of you. Thank you for your speech. Our next speaker is Toastmaster Smruti S. Mohanty, and she would be evaluated by Toastmaster Joane Joseph. Toastmaster Joane, could you please confirm your presence?
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you. Toastmaster Smruti was a sales manager by profession and a certified soft skills trainer by interest. After almost a decade, she's now a full-time management student by virtue of time. She joined Toastmasters to sharpen her saw of public speaking. Outside Toastmasters, she's a mindful, introverted soul whose life revolves around food, but that made by others, family, and dance. Toastmaster Smruti is attempting her L5P2 from the path Persuasive Influence. Her project name is Moderate a Panel Discussion. The project purpose is for her to apply her skills as a public speaker and leader to facilitate a panel discussion. Timer, please note her speech duration is 20 to 40 minutes. Toastmaster Smruti S. Mohanty. Open Threads, Beauty of Coping Mechanism. Open Threads, Beauty of Coping Mechanism, Toastmaster Smruti S. Mohanty.
Hope is being able to see the light beyond the tunnel. Hope is the last thing which I ever lost. Hope, but that's not what we are discussing today. Is actually the word cope and the coping part which we are going to address in this panel discussion. Why did I start with hope? Because that's the only thing left with me when I was going through a different phase of my life. Later, with growing and passage of time, I realized that I'm not alone. There are many people around me juggling through emotions because struggling is not the right word. Why exactly this happens? Why exactly there is a dilemma? And why we don't speak up? Is consulting someone a bad thing? Is sharing a bad thing? Or discussing about it makes me a bad person? Why is that? To answer a few of those questions, I am here with my panelists to discuss about the beauty of coping mechanism. I would request all my audience to please open up your mind without any biasness or any prejudices and hear us out, what we are here to discuss. While I was thinking about the topic, I thought maybe I'm not alone, but am I the right person to discuss about it? Because coping and coping mechanism suddenly brings a lot of chaos and tension in that room. So in order to facilitate the entire discussion, I thought to bring people who has some knowledge and expertise in their respective domain. I would like to take this opportunity to call upon my panelists. In no particular order, please welcome Mr. Dipanshu Rawal. He is a life coach, a mentor who helps working professionals to master their emotions, become confident, and experience deeper happiness and fulfillment. Thank you, Dipanshu, for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Next, we have distinguished Toastmaster Dr. Gayatri Deshmukh, a life coach, a stress and anxiety management coach, emotional intelligence coach, meditation practitioner. Who else can I ask for? Thank you so much, Dr. Gayatri, for your presence today. Our very own, I would like to call upon Toastmaster Jasprit Kaur, a teacher, a soft skills trainer, a personality coach, and a posh trainer as well. Thank you, Jasprit, for accepting my request and making it today. Other than that, someone very close, I asked her to please join us and share her expertise and knowledge, none other than Toastmaster Priyamvada Sharma, a student of psychology, currently doing her master's in clinical psychology to be specific. Thank you so much, Priyamvada, for making it today. Dear audience, though we are discussing about coping mechanism, psychology, something very much deep or maybe the surface level, but before we begin, I would like to give a bit of disclaimer that we are not claiming, supporting, encouraging, or discouraging any medical condition or medication. And all my panelists agree to the same. With that consent, we are beginning the discussion. We are just trying to get the opinion, experience, and expertise. The intent is to talk and create an awareness about this context. On that note, coping is something which I related to hope and having a hope and begin with. When I asked one of my friends that what exactly coping and coping mechanism, What she said, coping is adaptation to the environmental stress that is based on conscious and unconscious choices that enhances the control on your behavior to give you your psychological treatment. Trust me, I didn't get anything out of it. So, dear panelist, can you please help me understand what exactly do you mean when it comes to coping mechanism? We'll start with Dipanshu. Would you please help us understand what your take on the topic of coping mechanism? Over to you.
Sure, thank you. So let's understand this by taking an example of how we all have different capacities of feeling certain emotions. Okay, so if you lose, let's say, a ring of yours, which was not costly, your reaction to that would be so much different than losing a ring that is very costly. Okay, the same way, having a bad day versus having a terrible day, there's a lot of gap, right? So all of us have different capacities to feel, hold, and process emotions. Okay, and when something happens which is beyond that capacity, we try to cope up with it. Okay, so I look at it with that lens, and so that could mean anything. For some people, the capacity is so much, they are born with they have learned how to process emotions better. So even if they have a really terrible incident happening around them, they can process it better. Versus if somebody hasn't developed those emotional wellness skills, that emotional intelligence, emotional maturity, even if you tell them a critique, let's say, they will suddenly go into their shell. They will overeat, they will oversleep, they will not sleep, they will not eat, whatever those coping mechanisms could be, right? So to understand, it's basically the avoiding the unpleasant emotions or avoiding any emotions that are not in our capacity to hold and process and feel.
Avoidance is the key here, which I can take. And I agree that sometimes we question the maturity and try to push it to coping mechanism. And why a person is not able to understand it, we question that. Thank you so much. Taking it from there, the avoidance part, Dr. Gayatri, do you have the similar opinion, or we would love to know from you that what do you understand when it comes to coping mechanism?
I sleep and I eat. There are times when I eat an entire bar of chocolate and my mother asks me, did you really eat an entire Hershey's bar by yourself? Have you no shame? And with still half Hershey bar in my hand, I tell my mother, I'm coping, I'm depressed. My mother looks at me, your depression is really very costly for the entire family. It's not just eating, it's also sleeping. Rather than facing the situation, I'd rather sleep, because when I sleep, I'm in a different world, the world which is entirely my own. Sleeping is another effective coping mechanism. There is one more coping mechanism which a lot of people are aware of, but they don't really realize the strength of it. Music. How many here are 90s kids? Quite a few of you. So when I say Himesh Reshamia, you think about Ashik Banaya Aapne. When I was in college, almost every second guy would sit in the canteen and it would go all the whole, since I'm not a singer, I'm not going to inflict any atrocities here. But yeah, the whole ooh thing that happened in the songs of Himesh Reshamia, they somehow connected with people. He was nasal singer, they were not so good songs, and still it connected with everyone. Why? Now, here is one of the things that I feel happens. Oo is one of the sounds which is a part of a bigger concept called as Omkar. So the Om is combination of oo, When you study exactly what happens with each of the sounds, here is what happens. With the sound it is your navel point that is activated. So everything around your navel gets what it needs, all the vibrations. when you generate the sound ooh from your system, that ooh comes right from here, center of your chest. And once that starts vibrating your veins, it gives you a relaxing feeling in this portion, the entire portion which usually hurts when you have had breakups, something unpleasant, something undesirable happening in your life. And then is something that calms down every muscle in your body. But that ooh is something that brings it out from you. When I do my sessions, when I'm seeing somebody who is coping with something that is connected to heart, tell them, work on your heart chakra. You need to get that thing out. There are several coping mechanisms. One thing that you need to understand about coping is that it is easy to cope if you are maybe involved, but not entangled. Maybe attached, but still very detached. Coping mechanism becomes very easy when you understand the difference between these terms. And that is all it takes.
Wow, that's such a detailed analysis about especially the Omkar part. And it's very important to understand the gravity of implementing the same. Thank you so much for bringing that concept to this panel and to this mass audience as well. Thank you so much. But I will stick to the chocolate and the sleeping part, to be very honest, because maybe I relate to it. But I want to understand, is it something with generations we have been doing or something has changed? Which is indicating to Toastmaster Priyamvada. Priyamvada, the Gen Z, I wanted to understand that something is common for you as well, the chocolate and the sleeping part, or the music, or what exactly do you understand when it comes to coping mechanism?
So, coping mechanisms for us, like Gen Z, is still similar to eating chocolate or sleeping or listening to music. But what I understand by coping mechanisms is that, as Dr. Dipanshu said, we have when there is high level of stress, then we need to deal with it, right? And what I think, what it has been seen, that everyone has coping mechanisms. People who are more resilient has better coping skills or mechanisms than people who are not that resilient. And as Dr. Gayatri said, we still have sleeping and eating and music. So these coping mechanisms are if you don't take them too far and you come out of them, yes, they are adaptive, because they can lead as a distraction from the problem, from the stress, so that you are not too much ruminating towards it, that what happened, or overthinking. When you are calm, then you can actually think about the problem. So that is how Gen Z, us also, we also try to eat our favorite food. We also try to sleep. That one of my friends, he sleeps and says, I will deal with it later. I eat a lot when I'm stressed. And my cousins have a playlist of sad songs when they are feeling sad. So that is how we have been trying to cope. But unfortunately for Gen Zs, what we have seen, that there is a surge in maladaptive coping mechanisms. So it goes too far. So one chocolate becomes two. Then there is chocolate ice cream. Then there is a cookie, a pizza. Sometimes it turns to substance abuse as well. So what I feel is that we need a more focus on mental health, trying to psycho-educate kids from the start about how to cope, so that we don't go into that maladaptive coping mechanisms and turn to adaptive ones. And I think we can learn a lot deal from our seniors, from the generation that came before. That's my take on it.
Thank you so much, Priyamvada. I completely agree that resilience and calmness is like the foundation. And it's tough sometimes to stick to that, to be resilient in every situation. but what it takes, it takes. Moving with Toastmaster Jasprit, you might have seen a different angle being on the other side of the table, having parents and kids dealing with each other, you dealing with them. They have their own way of coping mechanism. From your experience, anything different you have witnessed, or any new take, anything which you understood when it comes to coping mechanism? We would love to know that.
Thank you so much. You very rightly said, dealing with parents, kids, students, everybody. So different age groups, but stress that happens to everybody. So I'll just explain it with a short story, a very short story. So let's go back in time, the time when children used to go to sages and all. So we have this child called Dhruv. He went to a sage and he wanted the sage to tell him the secret of happiness and success. And the sage smiled. He said, okay, go to the market, get me the biggest and the juiciest watermelon. Bring it back over here. Obviously, task given by the sage, very happily running, trotting, jumping, and he went to the market, chose the biggest one and the juiciest one. The fruit seller said, this is the best, put it on his head, started walking back. Now, the same path was no longer, he was able to trot and run and jump. He had to mind his steps. He shouldn't trip. This shouldn't fall down. He was very watchful. The speed slowed down. And there were passers by two categories. One who were talking, looking at him, pointing out and gossiping, smiling. The other who were giving a compassionate smile. Oh, poor boy, don't worry. You'll be able to do it. Don't worry. And he finally reached. The sage asked him, he gave the watermelon. The sage asked what happened going and coming back. Then the sage said, this is your first lesson from me. This is life with all its stress and worries and problems. You went running, hopping, jumping. You couldn't come back that way. That is life, the stress. You have to handle it. Now, one thing that you could have done was when you met those compassionate people, you should have just put the load down, sat down under the shade of a tree, exchange smiles, maybe speak a little bit with them, and then take it back, come here. This has to be done. But pause, ponder, and then move in. So that is what, according to me, coping mechanism is. Give a break. Give a break. Stress has to happen. Anxiety, pressure has to happen no matter whatever age, whatever time zone. But then it has to be inbuilt. Very rightly said by some of them, it has to be started off from the basic stages. Over to you, Toastmasters Smruti.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Jasprit. Taking a break and pause is very important in every aspect of life, and especially when we are juggling and struggling with something big called emotions. On that note, I understood that we all have something to add to it when it comes to this should be done, this should not be done. That brings me to another surprising question, that instead of having certain idea, what exactly certain myth around the coping mechanism and anything which we can do to bring a correct awareness regarding the same. I'll start with Dr. Gayatri. Can you please give me two perspectives, just two answers to it? One is a myth which you came around, and second, any suggestion from your end to create the correct awareness. Over to you.
So when we talk about something called as coping mechanism, it's an abstract science. It's not something that can be proven in a controlled environment, which also means that it doesn't matter if it's a myth or not. If it's happening, it's happening. So when it comes to coping mechanism, there is no myth because every person is different. So solution is going to be different. But here is something I can share with you. I was in Rishikesh studying my meditation, and we were quite deep into it. We had one of the participants who had joined us from Seattle. Medical marijuana is legal in Seattle. And this guy had a habit of smoking marijuana and drinking wine every night. But here we were not even allowed to drink tea and coffee because they are external elements which will have some effect on our mind. For nearly 15 days, he was very uneasy because marijuana used to calm him down a lot. It used to give him that high, it used to give him that kick he needed. After 15 days, he finally said that, can I just go and smoke once? And our trainer said, no. Our teacher said, you need to hold on. On 17th or 18th day, I remember we did our Shakti Sanchalan. Shakti Sanchalan is channelizing the energy. After this particular meditation was done, he came out of it and he was appearing very blissful. And he said, I just felt like I smoked marijuana. And that is when our guru told us that, what does marijuana do to you? It numbs your senses. What does it do by numbing your senses? You don't feel the pain. You like the feeling of not feeling the pain, which is why you rely on marijuana to do that for you. Meditation, if done properly, it can help you in withdrawing your senses as well as awakening your senses, depending on what you need. Point is, rather than emphasizing on the coping mechanism that is used, what we need to first understand is exactly what is it that we are getting out of that mechanism. When we are talking about eating chocolates, it's releasing endorphins in our head. When we are talking about sleeping, it is basically numbing our senses, that is withdrawing our senses when we are sleeping. And we are talking about listening to music, which is favoring our mood at the time. It is complementing, it is providing us what we need. So it is not about myth, because even when we say andhashraddha, blind faith, there is faith in it. That faith is important, that blindness needs to be removed. So identify what is it that you're achieving from that mechanism, and then identify what is something else that can help you with it better, which will help you not rely on the external factors. Don't rely on marijuana, just go for this. Don't rely on chocolates. Try to release the endorphins yourself. Try doing something on your own. So that is what I would say.
If, in a layman language, if I can put it, is it like taming your mind with correct knowledge and information so that you will not get misleaded and have your own pre-assumption about a concept? That's something great to hear from you. And I can definitely understand from the experience which you actually bring it on table. I wanted to understand from Dipanshu, do you second that there is no myth around coping mechanism, and what do you think can we do to create that awareness regarding the right coping mechanism or the concept of talking itself?
That's very true that essentially it's what is happening with the coping mechanisms and all. And I would say instead of the word myth, I'd rather feel comfortable talking about the misunderstandings about it. So one person's coping mechanism could be a very good career for somebody else. So somebody eating a lot or not eating enough would be a problem, but for somebody else, it's a very good business, right? So I'd rather see that with a lens of being healthier and unhealthier behaviors. So the same way we are all, everybody's on social media, so we have heard wake up at 5 a.m. or don't use your phone the first thing in the morning, or science says don't use it at the end of before you're sleeping and all. But here's the thing. I'm thinking of a story. Give me a moment.
Sure.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll second the thought on how do we understand what's going on. And I talked about the capacity. So imagine there's a line with waves, let's say. So we have these emotions of pleasant and unpleasant ones, the sadness, the grief, the joy, happiness, anxiety, all that. So when those emotions happens, when certain incidents happen within those capacities, we don't need coping mechanisms, right? When we heard something unpleasant from, let's say, our parents, which we have always heard, so we become so used to it. We don't need coping mechanism every time my mom tells me, I'm a lazy person. But when that goes out of the capacity, when something really big happens, even that could be, I remember my wedding day, I wasn't like, I needed something to cope up with. And how did I cope up? I was crying a lot and I didn't know I was crying, right? So how do we grow that capacity? One of the ways to understand and process emotions better would be to growing your capacity to feel those emotions better. So there's a very beautiful 4-word slogan that I use, which is touch me, teach me. So anytime something unpleasant happens, anytime we need to go back to the food or the sleep or the, for some people it's gym, what is it that I'm avoiding? What is it that I'm trying to not achieve? What is it I'm trying to achieve with it? And how can I allow it to touch me and teach me?
Oh, wow. Okay, great. I mean, it's all about, just to repeat and reiterate in my way, which I understood, it's about increasing the horizon of your capacity and understand that what exactly the misunderstanding and understanding. There is no myth, if you can also second that, but you need to have a correct awareness about the environment as well as your capacity and balance between it. Thank you so much, Dipanshu, for bringing that aspect. With your knowledge, Priyamvada, I would like to understand from you that one message which you would like to offer to Gen Z, that okay, this is what something we can do, and it's not something a medication or something, or I'm not saying that it's something a very important thing to do, but from your heart, what do you feel that this is one message I can offer to this generation when it comes to coping mechanism?
So, what I feel is like, first, there is not much awareness about coping mechanisms. Like, what like I should say is, कि people don't know that there are different mechanisms also instead of these ones. Like, instead of avoidance, there is problem focused mechanisms that we use unintentionally. Sometimes what we do is we try to face the problem head on, we try to analyze, then we go step by step, and we solve that problem, right? Then in some situations what happened that we cannot actually control the problem, we cannot control how others behave with us, or sometimes there is a, in like major case, sometimes there is a death of loved one. Now we can't do anything in that situation, so there is that needs emotion focused coping where you try to deal with your emotions, right? So what in Gen Z we are trying to deal with our emotions, because what I feel is that I don't know why, maybe because of social media, maybe because of the lifestyle, our emotions have become more fragile as compared to the generations before us. And to deal with those emotions, we are just unconsciously navigating through all the different resources which are present there. And what is actually present there is social media. What sometimes what is actually present is eating, binge eating. For some, it is substance abuse. For some, it is self-harm. There is so much distress. So what I want to tell Gen Z is that there are different coping mechanisms also that you can go to. You don't need to do substance abuse. You don't need to binge eat. You can share that problem with your friend. You can seek social support. People are there to help you. You can distract yourself through music if meditation is not working for you, because it's very hard for us to meditate. If it's not working, then go to gym, try to run. If it's not working, then try to journal, but you don't have to go towards unhealthy coping mechanisms. That's my message.
Thank you, Priyamvada. Sometimes this is a very interesting, which I noticed, which we have mentioned, and maybe it's because of the the subject which you are reading, that it's not always about avoidance. It's about understanding the situation which are there in your control and which are beyond. And if things are beyond your limit, you can't do anything about it. And we need to understand what are actually the good mechanism and which are the actually to be avoided mechanism. Thank you so much on those lines. Toastmaster Jasprit, what Priyamvada just now mentioned, there is a plethora of information available on the social media. And sometimes not only the kids, even parents are relying on it blindly. So what is your one suggestion from your experience which you would like to offer to this platform today?
See, social media has a lot to offer. So selection and rejection has to happen at our end. And as far as, grown-ups still can understand, but then let us become an example for the little ones in the family. We need to tell them what to take and what not to take. And just to validate what just now Priyamvada said, we need to tell children that there is an inner circle with whom you can talk to. Stress has to happen, whatever social media may keep on saying. Stress has to happen. Life doesn't come to us in a linear fashion. It happens in ups and downs. So when it happens like that, we all know that it is an open secret. We have to live life. We have to manage our commitments and deadlines, whether it's a school-going child, a homemaker, entrepreneur, corporate sector you're working in. When you have to do that, there's no escape. It's all over here. Right attitude, positivity, strategizing, breaking it into smaller chunks, and very important, time management, prioritizing. If you do it at the right time, at the right stage, the speed breakers will for you. You'll be able to cross them very easily because you'll be able to maintain your speed. You'll not have to rush drive your vehicle because time is slipping out of your hands. So that is what I feel about all this.
Okay. I'll take directly to the Dipanshu and understand, because you also deal with students, major and masters. Do you think it's as simple as Jaspreet has mentioned now, that to ask them to be focused, to ask them to study a pattern? Do you think that's practically possible? If no, then what else then?
Very practically possible for some people, not at all possible for other people. Also because the emotional strength that we have developed by the age of, let's say, 18 when you're in college, it's going to be a lot different for all, different people. Like take the example of losing your ring. So it would mean very different to different people, right? Some people would care too much about losing even, fake jewelry. And some people wouldn't worry about even gold jewelry or even losing diamonds, right? Based on with all the ancestral and generational gifts that we carry. So yeah, books, and that simply means that we need to have different levels and intensities of support available. For some people, books change lives. For some people, they simply need to watch a TED Talk and their life is totally changed. And for some people, they need like decades of therapy just because of all the generational gifts that we carry, right? So very much possible for sure, but different intensities and different qualities of support is required.
So it's not one size fit all concept, definitely, because we are dealing with emotions, which is not an easy thing to deal with. Thank you so much for all the inputs which you have shared. Now, in interest of time, I would like to open this forum for our audiences. We have our panelists from across different segments. If you have any question, then please raise your hand, or you can paste your question on chat as well. I'll be happy to read it out and answer. Anyone has anything to get answered or any questions? By the time I get a question, I have a question from my end, which I'm taking from, okay, I'll park my question for now. I'll go to Joane. Toastmaster Joane, please go ahead.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Smruti. What a lovely discussion on coping mechanisms. I have a question, and I don't mind any of the panelists going for the answer. We discussed about the emotional strength, the resilience, and whatnot. Why is there no discussion about the different levels of trauma and the compassion that is needed for different kind of people? Because honestly, I feel this is a one-sided discussion where you're saying that it's only your resilience, your, emotional IQ that you have developed till 18 or whatever. Losing a ring versus seeing your parents murdered, those are totally different levels of trauma, right? So I was just sitting in here and thinking, what about different levels of trauma? Is it right to bucket, blanketly say that it's just your emotional IQ and resilience? And what about people who are going through different things in life? How do you tell them that your coping mechanism is different, or what compassion and what advice would you give to them? That's my question.
Thank you, Toastmaster Joane. Initially, we discussed to keep the discussion on the surface level to the maximum extent possible, because we never know the audience or whosoever is listening to what extent they might have went through. Having said that, you have a very valid question. And I would request Dr. Gayatri to help us understand regarding the level of the intensity as well, which Toastmaster Joanne has questioned. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Smruti. Joanne, I'm going to tell you about this one of my clients. She used to join me from the Middle East. For nearly 1 year, she was meeting me thrice a week because she was asked to meet me thrice a week. Every week I would ask her, how are you feeling? Do you have a problem? And she would say, no, everything is fantastic in my life. All this time, I would get Excel sheets from her family members telling me exactly the problems that were happening. Somewhere she was in a big time denial. After a year or so, she finally started crying one day because she could no longer take it. The level of trauma, it started with she was denied to get the sari she wanted, to her husband giving that sari to someone else. Not someone else, his sister, but still it's trauma. Why? Because it is not about somebody dying necessarily, but it is about something being taken away from you. It's not necessarily a death that will cause you a very intense trauma. Sometimes people close to you behaving not favorable to you causes the most trauma. If you lose someone to death, that person is gone. But the person living not treating you the way you wish they treated you, that gives you more trauma. I have another client, she is today 14 years old. I have been talking to her for past couple of years. She's into sports. Where does her trauma begin? Till she was 8 years old, she had this best friend. Suddenly this girl became a gold medalist at state level. She's going for nationals now. And her friends got jealous and she started taking away all her friends. Now this 10-year-old girl's trauma, as she's growing up into a teen, she's missing her friend. And what is her friend doing? Her friend is feeling that my friend is going away from me. It is not about a one-sided discussion about resilience. You are responsible for your emotions. Nobody else cares. Nobody else will want to care because they have their own set of problems. Being compassionate, being empathetic is a good thing. But believe me, when I tell my clients, keep your empathy in your box for now. You need it for yourself. We are living in the times wherein we need whatever energy we have for ourselves. And then if some energy is remaining, then give it to others. In an attempt of being compassionate and empathetic to other people, don't do injustice to yourself. Which is why I believe this discussion of coping mechanism, talking about our own resilience towards the problems, that is more important these days. Because we are living in the life, or rather the times wherein yesterday generation has been talking about help people. Today's generation, we don't even have people to talk to. Why? Because we have our own problems, they have their own problems. These days, half the therapists get paid only because people don't have anyone to talk to. Hence, it is important to work on your self-resilience rather than thinking about compassion. There is nobody out there who has bandwidth for the compassion. I hope that answers the question.
Joanne, I hope that answered that question. Do you have any follow-up on that?
No, I don't have any follow-up. Thank you.
Thank you so much. But I understood that we cannot define a guideline for the other person. Why not to have something corrected at our own level first? Because with environment, with situation, we don't know, as the Panshu said, where our capacity lies. We don't know how to define others' capacity. Rather, we should check something here itself. Thank you so much, Dr. Gayatri, and thank you so much, Joanne, for bringing this interesting topic on board. Any other question? And with the interest of time, we will take one more question before we wind up. Do we have any questions? Okay, I wanted to understand something which I picked from what Toastmaster Jaspreet was highlighting. And I even second that. Sometimes students, they somehow feel that hard working or the stress of working hard is synonym to anxiety. And it's from a personal experience with my siblings. They are another generation all put together. I fail to cope up with them. Coping with them is a difficult task for me. Sometimes, if you literally ask them to do XYZ things, their answer is, you are literally forcing me to be, I'll go in depression. It's giving me anxiety. So is it something like a safe word which they are using because somehow they feel that's the actual meaning? So is it like a misunderstanding, or am I wrong here? Am I missing some the piece of puzzles here? I wanted to understand, and I would like to hear from Priyamvada, because especially when I said it's with respect to my cousins, I want to ask you because somehow they are similar to your age as well. Do you think I am misunderstanding here something, or it actually happens? People do try to, they're unable to find the right terminology and they try to fit in anxiety and depression with. What is your comment to the same?
Okay. So, the word depressed, the word depression is actually, I don't know, it has become so common and it has been not defined properly. You might be feeling sad, but to be depressed, you have to like feel sad, have this, like there is a category you have to fit into according to our like DSM, according to a manual of books which define you as a depressed person. Now, they might be feeling worried, they might be feeling anxious, but anxiety is a disorder. And like that, depression is a disorder. So I won't say that it's their mistake that they are using this, but since so it has become so common on social media, it has become like a slang that is being used by everyone. So maybe you can help them by telling them that no, you might be feeling sad, you might be feeling worried, but you are certainly not depressed.
Thank you so much, Priyamvada. It's I somehow I'm thinking on those lines. Maybe it's my responsibility as well to give them the right meaning to it, to help them identify their emotion. That's maybe the right terminology here. Wow, we had such a great discussion on all various aspects, and it's like I'm really grateful, and my sincere gratitude to all the panelists who were able to make time and join here. Thank you, the audience, for your patient listening. And on a nutshell, to summarize, yes, it is important to take a pause sometime to identify your capacity, to give a right direction and meaning. And end of the day, try to understand what's there in your hand rather than pushing it to someone else. On that note, I would request each one of you to have some time in a day where you can self-introspect yourself, understand your emotions, and then leave it at rest. Thank you so much. I give the command back to the Toastmaster of the day.
If I was to make a word string which sounded like touch me, teach me, chocolate bar, overeating, heart chakra, and Himesh Rashamya's ooh, could anyone decipher that we just heard a panel discussion about coping mechanism? Thank you, Toastmaster Smruti, for varied perspectives on coping mechanism. I think everyone here enjoyed it. Our next speaker today is Toastmaster Jitender Rulaniya, and he will be evaluated by Toastmaster Yogita Upadhyay. Toastmaster Yogita, please confirm your presence.
Yes, I'm there.
Toastmaster Jitender is a travel enthusiast who's interested in different cultures and values. Proficient horse rider who believes in a circle of influence, always focusing on things which he can control. He's passionate about running. It's like meditation for him. He's going to attempt L2P1 from the path Dynamic Leadership. His project name is Understanding Your Leadership Style, and the project purpose is for him to identify his primary leadership style or styles. Timer, please note his speech duration is 5 to 7 minutes. Toastmaster Jitender Rulaniya, Evolving Leadership. Evolving Leadership, Toastmaster Jitender Rulaniya.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. Evolving leadership. And first thought which comes in our mind, are you a leader? How many of you think leaders are not born, but they are made? Please raise your hands. I don't see any hands. That means you think that they are born. I can see Sudharma. Yeah. What about the rest of the people? Great. Ritu. Komal. Yeah. Though it sounds cliche, but it's true that leaders are not born, but they are made. But what is the definition of a leader? I think that is something which we need to understand. Leader is someone who inspire others to dream more, do more, learn more, and become more. With that, I want to know the important traits of few of the renowned personalities who are driving this world. So let's look at few of the traits of leaders. So can you name few traits of this Donald Trump? Do you think he's leader? Can anyone mute and speak out some traits what they have observed in Donald Trump? No?
Impulsive, unpredictable.
Dominant.
Great. So now let's move on to the most familiar face of India. What do you think? The key traits of Narendra Modi.
Confident speaker.
Okay.
Good in marketing.
Okay.
Famous personality.
Influencer.
Okay.
A great leader.
His audience.
Is good in branding.
And what about Hitler? We have read in our textbooks.
Good speaker, could sway opinion.
Nazi camps.
Okay. So some of these leaders have common, which is their vision, what they want to achieve. They are, of course, good communicator, but then the first and foremost is their vision. And then how they connect with the people, how make them understand, influence them with their thoughts and thinking. So coming to my leadership style, I grew up in a joint family where my father was a chieftain of a village, and his authoritative leadership style was unquestionable. Even today, none of my siblings dare to ask him questions. I realize that instills me that how authoritative leadership style functions. Even today, I realize the importance of authoritative leadership style because it works sometime. Transitioning from my regular life to a boarding school where I need to adopt unfamiliar environment. And that is where I learned how to collaborate with others. Upon joining college, I expanded my horizon and embraced the democratic leadership style, which emphasizes on the feedback, group discussions, and inclusiveness of the people. And that fosters the shared ideas, flexibility, and effective mediation. Though it slows down the decision making, but because it involves a lot of different stakeholders. When I joined Mindtree, there I experienced the first-hand rigidity of authoritative leadership style. Questions were not welcome, and compliance was paramount. After that, this experience shaped how I evolve as a leader, mirroring the authoritative leadership style ingrained in me from home and my early career. When I became manager in Volvo, the most obvious leadership style was authoritative. And after a few months, everyone complained. And that is where I reflected and reevaluated. And I transitioned from authoritative to a democratic leadership style, where I discuss, involve my team members, so I can hear their voice. They feel more inclusive. But the most important turning point happened in my life when I started reporting to my HR director, whose approach embodied the servant leadership. Rooted in prioritizing the greater good, and servant leadership encompasses in flexibility, empathy, active listening, and stewardness. With servant leadership, this may not be applicable at everywhere, but I acknowledge the effectiveness in fostering adaptability, situation responsiveness. As my leadership style predominantly leans towards the democratic and remain flexible to adjust according to the contextual demands. But my ultimate aspiration is to embody the principle of servant leadership, prioritizing the well-being and growth of the people whom I lead. So I want to conclude my leadership style that leadership is not about being in charge, but it is about taking care of those in your charge. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jitender, for letting us know that your leadership style is democratic, but you would love to learn from servant leadership style. Our next speaker today is DTM Sourav Dutta. He would be evaluated by Toastmaster Priyamvada Sharma. Toastmaster Priyamvada, please confirm your presence. DTM Sourav Dutta is a winner of 2 DTM awards and has completed 10 paths in Toastmaster pathways. He has been a President's Distinguished Division Director, a Distinguished Area Director in the past. Outside Toastmasters, Sourav has played several leadership roles in Fortune 500 companies, startups, and nonprofits. Currently, he's building his own edutech startup, Practive, which he founded in June 2020. He's attempting his L1P3 from the path Persuasive Influence. The project name is Write a Speech with Purpose. The project purpose is to learn or review basic methods for writing a speech with a defined purpose and to present a well-organized speech on any topic. Timer, please note his speech duration is 5 to 7 minutes. DTM Sourav Dutta, I am sorry. I am sorry, DTM Sourav Dutta. Speech. Can a single speech move us, entertain us, and frighten us at the same time? DTM Sourav, this was one such speech. Our next speaker today is Toastmaster Upasana Ghosh. Toastmaster Upasana will be evaluated by Toastmaster Lakshmi Sujatha. Toastmaster Lakshmi, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you. Toastmaster Upasana is a chirpy, happy-go-lucky bookworm who loves to eat, cook, travel, listen to music, and read about Indian mythology. She's been fortunate enough to visit 13 different countries and loves exploring new cultures. Currently, she works as a senior technical writer for an MNC. She's attempting her L5P1 Speech 2 from the path Team Collaboration. Her project name is High Performance Leadership. The purpose of her project is for her to apply her leadership and planning knowledge to develop a project plan and organize a guidance committee. This speech requires her to share some aspects of her experience in completing the project. Her speech duration is 5 to 7 minutes. Toastmaster Upasana Ghosh, finally done. Finally done, Toastmaster Upasana Ghosh.
Leadership, planning, and project implementation. A journey of growth. Toastmasters and dear guest, allow me to walk you to the path of my journey of growth. In the realm of personal development, there are few experiences and instances which are transformative for your life, which leads a project from inception to execution. Whether it's organizing a community event or planning a very mundane job. In my task, it was completing 100 POV initiative, that is 100 point of view, wherein 100 articles will be published in 100 days. I was given the challenge to review and edit all of them, and I was a sole contributor. Even though I meticulously planned my project, that every day I would take up one article, review, edit, send it to the marketing team for publishing it. But planning it on paper and planning it in real life situation is very different. On paper, you are always before the time. It is more of overcommitment. But while you sail, that's when you see that, oh, I have overcommitted and I know I won't be able to achieve. I, being an overconfident person, I told my CDO, that is Chief Delivery Officer, that I would complete this within 90 days time. He did smirk, but I thought maybe he didn't know my capability. But the moment I landed, that's when I knew how the situation is. After crossing the challenges, that is talking to product managers, getting inputs, getting their writings, articles, articulate them, then again following up with marketing team, it was a big hassle. For me, at that moment, I felt 6 months is very less time. I think I should have been given 12 months. But deadline is set. Our event was set. Everything was set. That means I have to set my mind. And that's when I started planning, working with a team of all the product managers, engineers, so that I could come up on time. This project, this 6 months project has taught me what authenticity means, what lessons I have learned. And I have also celebrated my milestones. When I talk about authenticity, even though I knew I was lagging behind, I conveyed the same to my managers. I made sure that everybody is in loop so that even though if I lag, at least they are there to back up. I had my sleepless nights. I had some breakthrough moments. But in keeping everything in mind, I had my team to back up. The lesson what I've learned is no matter whatever project you're given, whether it's in personal life or in your professional life, adaptability is one key skills which has to have happened. Otherwise, no life is easy. We have to go out of our comfort zone to achieve our target. And every month we would celebrate a very small milestone so that it not only kept me motivated, but it also kept motivated the other people who are not from marketing team, who are not from the writers team. And even after that, after completing 95 articles, I was in high state. I was in high motivation. But the moment 96th article dropped in my email, I lost my motivation all of a sudden. And that's when completing 5 articles was a task for me. I knew only 1 week time is left and I have to complete it. I know it is achievable. But somewhere I felt fatigue. Somewhere I got saturated. My eyes could not comprehend any letters. I was that saturated. But that 5% enthusiasm and motivation, I managed to dig it up. I don't know from where, but I managed to dig it up and said to myself, I'll give myself 2 days time and complete these 5 articles. And then I have victory. I have major things to celebrate. And with this very small motivation, I completed. I did overtime, I completed, I submitted. And I had the most peaceful night. I slept like a pig. And after everything was published, applauds were given to our chief delivery officers, product managers were happy, engineering team was happy. At the last of the chain, I was being congratulated. I was being appreciated for my immense support. I was being not only appreciated by my team, but my seniors, but also from different business units. And when you have been rewarded, when you have been called upon on major stage and appreciated, that's when you feel that, yes, no matter what has happened in this 6 months, it gave me my milestone. It made me achieve my milestone. So in this intersection of leadership, planning, and project implementation lies personal growth. As I navigated the complexity, I evolved. I knew what to do, what not to do. Maybe I have become a better leader than yesterday. I have become more adept planner. Now I know that paper and real life are different. The planning also has to be different accordingly. And no matter what happens, resilience is the key. No matter how things go haywire, you have to be resilient. So let's embrace these qualities and take each project as an opportunity to lead, to learn, and share our unique journey. Back to you, TMOD.
Thank you, Toastmaster Upasana, for sharing your experience. And I'm sure achieving milestones despite all odds makes it double special. Now, we will not have the polls for the speaker. Toastmaster Upasana was the last speaker for the day. We will not have polls for the speaker because we had an icebreaker speech today. But I request the timer, Toastmaster Manvi, to please share if you have any disqualifications.
Sure, Toastmaster of the day. We have few overtimes today. Toastmaster Inderpal took 7 minutes and 16 seconds. That was an overtime. And along with that, Toastmaster Smruti took 41 minutes and 57 seconds. That was the overtime. Rest everyone all.
Thank you, Toastmaster Manvi. Now, without wasting any time, let's quickly jump into the evaluation. I'd like to call the first evaluator, which is Toastmaster Leon Dennis Dsilva. He's going to be evaluating Toastmaster Inderpal Chadda's speech. And he is also attempting his L1P4 from Leadership Development, which is on evaluation and feedback. His speech duration is 2 to 3 minutes. He would be evaluated by Toastmaster Jyoti Mandal. Toastmaster Leon Dennis Dsilva has been a member of Toastmasters since Corona time, founder of Rhino Power Corporation and member of Lions Club. He also works in connectivity solution as a desktop engineer for a contract in Nimhans. Over to you, Toastmaster Leon.
Well, thank you for this opportunity, first of all. My target speaker, what's her name? May I know the speaker's name?
Toastmaster Inderpal.
My target speaker, Toastmaster Inderpal, was giving her icebreaker speech today. I would like each one of you to stand up and to give her a clap because it's a first speech.
Thank you.
First of all, welcome to the journey of Toastmasters. I really enjoyed your speech. It was a really insight to what you were speaking. And I really loved the way how you spoke about your chartered accountant, the way how you went through took us through your life. Basically, you were an inspiration to each one of us. If anybody were young, we could be no more younger than you. So, and a few little points to be noted so that you could improve yourself would be that when you're giving a speech, I noticed that your eyes were a little bit down. I think you were reading from a speech. So I would like that you would stand up like how I'm standing. Face your camera towards, maybe you could face your camera a little bit like towards this much distance would be appropriate. Maybe half width to your body, and you could give it straight, looking your eyes towards the camera. So that would be easier thing, giving an audience a little bit thing. You have a lot of things to learn from your Toastmaster journey. Further on your further paths, you will be learning around it, and I hope you enjoy your trip. Back to you, TMOD.
Thank you, Toastmaster Leon. I'd now like to call upon Toastmaster Jyoti Mandal to evaluate Toastmaster Leon. Toastmaster Jyoti Mandal is working in Course 5 Intelligence Analytics Company, having 6 years experience. By passion, she's a health coach and a nutrition advisor. helping people in weight management and lifestyle issue reversals. Toastmaster Jyoti Mandal.
Hi, there's some camera issues, so I'll be speaking like this. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, you are.
Good evening, everyone. Leon. So you started with a great point. You asked everyone to give standing ovation for the speaker as she is attempting her icebreaker speech, which is a good point. And you have also told her what was very good in her speech. For example, she did a great job on. She spoke about her story, her journey, how she cleared her CA, about her struggle. So that's a good point on the storyline. It's really nice. And the second thing, you have given some feedback to elevate her speech for the next time is camera length, because yes, as it is an online speech, it's good to have at least it is good to stand and then deliver the speech because you feel confident, right? So, and you have also showcased how she can how the camera should be, the length, and so that people can I mean she can grab the attention of the audience. And a few points I would like to tell you. There are many things which you could have pointed and utilized your time. For example, on her voice modulation, because I see the speaker has the speaker has told the story in a format like it's like a in one pace, no pitch, no pace, right, no pauses. So she could have improved on that. Maybe you could have told more pointers where she can elevate her speech, not just one or two lines, right? And second thing I observed is eye contact is missing. So yes, you have pointed that, like she was looking down. And time management, so it's like 4 to 6 minute speech, but she took some little more time, right? And while evaluating also, you can summarize what was really good and what points she can implement next time. So summarizing is very important when you evaluate. um so yeah, that's it from my end. Thank you. Over to you, TMOD. You're on mute.
You're on mute. Jyoti.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jyoti, for your evaluation. Our second evaluator is Toastmaster Atul C. Srivastava. He will be evaluating Toastmaster Neena Vij. Toastmaster Atul is from Hyderabad, Telangana. He did his MSc Psychology and B.Ed in Special Education, and he's a retired principal from the state government of Telangana. Over to you, Toastmaster Atul.
Thank you. Kudos to the Toastmaster Neena for taking up a very sensitive informational topic, which is the need of the hour. And the audience could easily get attached to the significance of life. The content framed was very organized one and looked very matured one. And your presentation with lots of coolness, composure added further charm to your speech. Your visualization of childhood, usage of trees, and your philosophical derivation of sapling as symbols of aspiration and roots as our base was very touching one. The area where you can further excel is the main purpose of the presentation was to focus on the intentional and unintentional body language. And for it, the setting of a camera for presentation is very important. As you were making a lot of hand gestures, but it was very less visible. So next time when you're setting camera, you should put a little more focus on that. As far as the content is concerned, you can enhance the content with a bit more adding color aspects of trees, because trees doesn't mean just green color. So it depicts a variety of colors and phases of trees and symbolizes very important stages of our life. The third point I would like you to incorporate in future representation is engaging of audience you may ask some questions about what is the importance of trees in their life. I could conclude my evaluation with a nice quote from Robert Frost. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep and miles to go before I sleep and miles to go before I sleep. And our journey as Toastmaster has a number of hidden lessons in it depicting our roles, our responsibilities, our dreams, our goals to excel in our presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Toastmaster Atul, for your evaluation. Evaluator 3 is Toastmaster Priyamvada Sharma. Priyamvada Sharma is a 24-year-old diving headfirst into the fascinating world of psychology. She's all about connecting with folks. It's like fuel for her soul. Toastmaster Priyamvada Sharma.
Toastmaster Sourav. I am sorry. I am sorry, TTM Toastmaster Sourav. Your speech was like a Bollywood movie. You started, like, I was wondering that how you would grab attention, and you grabbed attention like this with the melodious music, Inky Pinky Ponky, Ponky, and took us on a ride that was filled at the start with humor, with entertainment, and then then left us wondering what is going to happen next. When will Rohan and Neha reconcile? That is what I was thinking. The general purpose of your speech at the start, I felt, was entertaining people. It was going towards humor. It was going towards entertainment. But as it moved forward, I realized that the actual purpose of the speech was persuading people to reconcile with each other. The specific purpose of your speech, with in line with the title I am sorry, was actually persuading people to reconcile with each other, and that you showed perfectly with your story. Now, as we move towards the growth points, I somewhere when you were telling the story, I felt that it was like moving on, and I just wondered that why I'm listening to this. What, like, why I'm listening to this story? Is there a context what I'm going to find for like 2 minutes? So if you would have just before the start of the story given a context, a little bit of it, then it would have made it, like, given it a purpose that, oh, that's why I should focus on the story more and more. But the ending was really good, where you repeated and use repetition to help people understand your message, the purpose. Because when people listen more and more, they actually get that what you are trying to say. You also combine your personal story with the universal theme for people, that this is my personal story and this is what you can take from it. So it was not like, it was like people actually had a message that they should take with them, and you gave it perfectly. So I would say that the specific purpose and the general purpose and the title of your story was in line perfectly. That's all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Priyamvada. Our next evaluator is Toastmaster Yogita Upadhyay. Toastmaster Yogita is a go with the flow and a joyful person. She's always been a people person, so enjoying her phase as an HR and an image and a soft skills trainer. Toastmaster Yogita Upadhyay.
Thank you, TMOD. So the targeted speaker was Toastmaster Jitender. And Toastmaster Jitender, you had a wonderful start to the speech. You captivated our attention right from the beginning by posing a question. The engaging question immediately drew us to the topic that you are going to deliver about the leadership. Your speech was well organized. The introduction, the body, and the conclusion were all on point. The use of props, which is very unique, I saw in two of the speeches today, particularly when you used it at the start of the speech, was effective in emphasizing key points. Like you included the photographs of Donald Trump and Narendra Modi, etc. It added more emphasis, and we were intrigued to know what is going to come up next. Then you shared your personal experience, like how you learned from your seniors and how you incorporated your leadership style, which further added more impact towards your speech. Throughout your speech, you demonstrated good eye contact, good hand gesture movements, and good confidence. There is only one recommendation that I would like to suggest. I would encourage you to consider incorporating more of vocal variety, specifically the volume part, to further keep the audience engaged and hooked. Because I felt maybe the volume was a bit low or the energy was a bit low. You could try utilizing a microphone or positioning the system in such a way that you are more closer to the system. It will help you to deliver a speech that will maintain optimal clarity and projection for the other viewers. To conclude, you delivered an engaging and insightful speech. It was very nicely portrayed and it had everybody hooked from the start till the end. With some adjustments, you can incorporate vocal variety and the use of microphone perhaps. I'm sure it could further elevate the impact of your future speeches. Congratulations on completing the project. Looking forward to hearing more from you. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Priyamvada. Our Evaluator 5 is DTM Sampath Sorirarajan. He is a PhD from IIT Madras with 34 years of R&D. He's now retired. He's been a Toastmaster since 22 plus years. At different times, he's been members of 8 clubs in 3 countries with 100 renewals so far. Over to you, Toastmaster Sampath Sorirarajan.
Good evening, General Evaluator, other Toastmasters, and Toastmaster Samita Kar in particular. Today we had a very interesting project, reaching consensus, which is our day-to-day problem in the world. We don't easily reach consensus. So it's a very important project which we are doing, particularly in office situations. You have to reach consensus. You cannot fail in certain situations. But in Toastmasters, you can try this exercise and you may or you may not succeed in reaching consensus. But it is a playful way of learning the tricks. So today this project was run by Toastmaster Samita Kar. What I will say about the fulfilling the purpose, the consensus was not reached as part of the discussions, but in the end, by voting, the majority decision was taken and projected as consensus. A very clever ploy by the Toastmaster Samita. Kudos to Toastmaster Samita for fulfilling this project, and let us give her an applause. That's about purpose. About the performance, first prefacing the consensus discussion, giving initially some ideas of what it is going to be. It was in general very well done, a very relevant topic for all Toastmasters, whether to have it online or offline. And it's an open question. That's also a very good point. But I'm going to mix plus and minus because Samita Kar seems to be a senior Toastmaster. We don't have to go by sandwiches. It's okay. I'll rather go by that. So the clarity and specificity was not adequate in defining the issue. For example, should we meet at least once a year? It's a very weak way of saying. See, the option should be equivalent. So I would rather say, can we have alternate meetings online and this one? Then it's a serious problem. People will take sides more easily. This one, everybody can easily say, yeah, once in a year we can have it. And then they can always be absent, like it happens in so many other meetings. So this is not that one, but the discussion was conducted well. The first two speakers were very vague, were not clear. They took both sides. And then the third person defined, he said he is for online. The fourth person brought in the idea of hybrid for the first time. And the fifth person also went for hybrid. Now, hybrid is a confusing issue for this topic, which in the beginning it was not mentioned, but later on it became. Okay. And regarding the discussion time, the Toastmaster Samita did a very good liaison between the speakers, and she also made good comments towards the end, trying to round up the issue and then give a verdict as part of the voting. Probably I will not worry about getting a ribbon. I have some more points. See, there are some basic issues which can be done better. I have done this project twice. I have evaluated this project 3-4 times. I know the pitfalls in this project. You should not take 5 people. There are too many. Maximum 3, 2 or 3. Then you can give them second round. How do you reach consensus? Somebody says something, another person says something else. The first person comes back and supports his original view, or adjusts his, or adds some more information. And the second person does it. Towards the end, one of the persons gravitates towards the other person viewpoint. That is what is consensus. Now, there was no chance. Everybody gave one opinion and then they were all sitting pretty, except DTM Nancy, who frequently tested the Toastmaster, which is good actually. So how to control and run the show should be a part of the Toastmasters armory. So DTM Nancy should be thanked for doing that one. So this is one important thing. Define the issue very clearly with equivalent and opposite options, and have limited number of people. Give them second round chance. Then only you can come with consensus. There was no consensus exercise at all. Everybody gave their opinion and then they sat pretty. And then the Toastmaster came up with the consensus. It is rather like our political system where one person takes all the decision. Good luck to you. You have done a good job. Don't think I am criticizing, because there are some learning points for everybody. So I took the risk of even going beyond the time and telling. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, DTM Sampath Soirajan. Our next evaluator is Toastmaster Joane Joseph. She's a content writer, a passionate reader. She's an introvert who finds joy in conversations. She immerses herself in diverse music genres and languages. Toastmaster Joane Joseph. You're on mute.
I'm sorry, but I can't see the timer. Can you please spotlight the timer? Yeah, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Very good evening to you, Smruti. My first question to you is this your first time being a moderator for a panel discussion, or you have done this before? First time. Okay, fantastic. So then that changes everything, because I'll tell you, for a first time moderator in a panel discussion, you have done a fantastic job. Beauty of coping mechanism. Let's start with your topic. I was thinking what to say. I should actually applaud your courage for picking out this topic, because this topic borders danger line, right? Like, it's like borderline dangerous topic. And I'll tell you why. You brought in such an interesting perspective, thanks to your panelists, no doubt about that. But it can also trigger a lot of people. Yet you chose to stand by your topic and speak about it. So congratulations for that. We need that courage as public speakers and moderators to come up on the stage and experiment with such interesting yet dangerous topics. So congratulations for that. I love your preparation. You have done a lot of preparation. I could see from the way your questions were linked one after the other, and the way you were linking these questions with the panelists, like one gives an answer, then you ask a next question to another. So you had a lot of preparation in your mind, I feel so. And your questions were appropriately addressed to the appropriate panelists. For example, someone is a mother, so the question was about that. Someone who's Gen Z, so appropriate question to appropriate panelist. Kudos to you for that. I love the disclaimer that you gave in the start. Very important, especially when you are treading such topics. So that means you've put in a lot of thought process, and you know that this is this can turn into a controversy. So it's not like you're coming in thinking everything is going to work fine. You gave in that disclaimer that shows that you've done your research and you've done your critical analysis on the topic. So thank you for that. I love that. Now, a couple of things that we can think about so that next time you become a moderator, you take it to the next level. The first thing a moderator needs to be is neutral. Okay, so a moderator, as much as possible, should not show their biases between the panelists. And I'll tell you, your problem was, or what I felt, not problem, but what I felt was, you had a positive bias to every panelist. Every panelist gave an opinion and you were like, I agree. I completely agree with you. Oh, I understand. The same thing happens to me. A moderator needs to be very neutral because in the audience, there may be people who may have a differing opinion than the panelist, right? You're not a panelist, you're a moderator. Your job is in fact just to moderate the discussion, and that comes to the second feedback, counter questioning the opinion of the panelist, which was completely missing. Whenever a panelist gives you an answer, an opinion, either you counter question it or you address a counter question to another panelist, which was completely missing because you accepted and agreed to everything, right? Audience has 360-degree view people. So that counter question, if you don't do that, then that means your panel discussion is not balanced. It is going to one side. So one, be neutral. Don't show your opinion. You can have an opinion. Don't show it to the audience. Second, counter question and address this counter question so that the discussion is balanced. And last point, the intent. The intent was to talk and create awareness on coping mechanisms, right? I feel that intent was not completely, fulfilled. Because end of the day, what are the good coping mechanisms? I still don't know. I just know meditation. So think about addressing questions in such a way that we can get more solutions. But overall, I'll tell you, for the first time, you did a fantastic job. Hope you do even better next time. Thank you, all the best. Back to you, TMOD.
Thank you, Toastmaster Joane. Our next evaluator is Toastmaster Monica Ashwini. Toastmaster Monica is an MBA and a management consultant at Accenture Strategies. She's a bibliophile, gardening enthusiast, fitness freak, and a baker. Toastmaster Monica Ashwini.
Thank you, TMOD. Do we have Toastmaster Chitrakshi over here?
No, she's
okay, no problem. So Toastmaster Chitrakshi, we all know that she is such an inspiring orator. She speaks so well, and in all of her speeches, she keeps us so engrossed. She took us through her entire journey of speechcraft, wherein she spoke about her team members, she spoke about the objective, she spoke about the time management skills and whatnot. Now, there were various positive aspects of the speech that she delivered. Number one, she started with very good audience engagement. She started off with asking a few questions. She asked a couple of questions, and then very beautifully, she brought in humor in those questions. She said that when one of the members answered a particular question, she said that it's a tongue twister. And that was how she brought in humor in that audience engagement. She also said that the plan was to keep changing the plan. It's a beautiful statement. And in that very statement, she brought in voice modulation, which was another beautiful aspect of her speech. She had very good eye contact. She had brilliant hand gestures. The confidence was on point. Now, what could have been done better? I know this was the first speech wherein she had to discuss her project plan. She had to discuss the goals, and the details of it will be discussed in the second speech. However, I was a bit confused between what are the goals of her speech, or what were the goals of the speechcraft, and what was the vision that she wanted to accomplish. My personal understanding is that there is a difference between what a goal is and what your vision is. So I had a bit of a doubt over there. Yes, I understood her goals, but I couldn't understand the vision. And secondly, her speech could have been well structured. Like, okay, this is the vision, these are the team members, this is the timing, here I displayed my leadership skills, and these are the things that I displayed, and these are the things that I improved, and the details of it will be covered in the next speech. So I felt that structure was missing somewhere, and it was quite haphazard. That's what I felt. And I'm sure when I listen to the next speech, the second speech, I will understand it better. Maybe the detail, maybe the structure will come over there. All in all, I want to say that she's a brilliant speaker. All of us, like personally me, I can learn a lot from her. So it is a pleasure evaluating her, first of all. And kudos to your first speech, and I'm looking forward to your second speech. Thank you. Over to you, TMOD.
Thank you, Toastmaster Monica. Evaluator number 8 is Toastmaster Lakshmi Sujatha. Toastmaster Lakshmi is a behavioral and leadership trainer. She found her ikigai through her job with the Akshay Patra Foundation. And to upskill herself, her only go-to place is Toastmasters. Toastmaster Lakshmi Sujatha.
Toastmaster Upasana, let me first of all congratulate you for 2 milestones that you have achieved. Milestone 1 for completing your project at office, which is reviewing 100 speeches. It's 100 reports, not an easy task. I totally get you that. And the second one for completing this project at Toastmasters. Congratulations to you for both these achievements. Now, let me tell you something that I really liked about your speech today. So the main purpose of your speech today was to give your audience an experience about how you completed your speech. And I did hear bits and pieces of this experience in your entire speech. Basically, it was your learnings that you shared with us today. So when you spoke about planning on paper is different from planning, actually implementing it, or when you spoke about rejoicing the small victories, which would keep you motivated, and how one should be more adaptable. So these were these little learnings that it was very clear that these were the outcomes that or you had from your entire project. Now, having said this, let me also come to the point of how you could probably improve the speech. Now, this is a very personal story that you shared with us. It was a story of struggle. It was a story of keeping yourself motivated, right? And it was also a story of wanting to achieve something. So when you're speaking something so personal, I strongly believe or I feel that if there's a little more emotion associated with it, rather than just, giving that speech as a report, I think it would have been more impactful. Now, let me tell you why I felt that it was more like a report. You had many points that you had mentioned. So instead of having so many points, stick to 2 or 3 points. And give us that emotion that was associated during that point when you were rejoicing or when you felt you had just that 5% more to go and you were not able to do it. And I really had to struggle for it. Give us that emotion, right? That's when we would relate. And more importantly, you never know, you might be inspiring someone who has that 5% left to achieve in their life, in their goal. So bring in that connect. And another thing is probably if you hadn't moved the sheets, I think you were scrolling down or were you reading from somewhere? Yes. So that was again a slight disturbance. And one last thing is your title, Finally Done. Now that gives us a thing like, oh, finally done. But that's not the intention you had. Yours was like, oh yeah, finally done. It was more like happiness. So if you could just relook at the title. But overall, let me congratulate you for completing this project. Not an easy one. And just a few points that I've shared with you, which are areas of improvement. Get that connect and inspire at least one of us here. All the best.
Thank you, Toastmaster Lakshmi, for your evaluation. With this, we conclude the evaluation section, and I would like to call on the timer to know if there are any disqualifications.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the day. We had few overtimes again in the evaluation session today. The first evaluator, Toastmaster Leon Dsilva, went under time. The time was 1 minute and 24 seconds. DTM Sampath took 5 minutes and 7 seconds. Toastmaster Joane took 3 minutes and 34 seconds. These were the only overtimes. Rest everyone was qualified. I'll be sharing my report in the chat in a while.
Thank you, Toastmaster Manvi, for confirming that. May I also request the Zoom master to launch the polls for the evaluations? In the meantime, okay, so the evaluation polls are on your screen. Request you to please participate. We have the poll results, and the winner for today's evaluation is Toastmaster Lakshmi Sujatha. Congratulations, Toastmaster Lakshmi. Okay, with this, thank you for your patience and for being here till the end. I declare meeting number 16 of Gabbys International Toastmaster Club adjourned. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.